We are live! Hello, Internet!
Welcome to a show that we like to call Lies You'll Enjoy, a role playing game actual play production in which we play indie tabletop role playing games, normally as a trio, but today, dear viewers, it's just you, me, and Anthony. Anthony, who the heck are you?
Hey guys, my name's Anthony. I'm an economist by day, a children's writer sometimes, and on Monday evenings, I play RPGs. I've been playing RPGs for my whole life. I've even designed a couple that no one's ever seen. I was 12 at the time, Kurt. Don't get excited.
You really dangled something in front of me there.
And I love playing them now. That's why I'm here. And Kurt, who are you?
My name is Kurt. I am a role playing game designer. I'm a lover of role playing games. I'm a person who plays role playing games every Monday on this here live stream, almost every Monday. Every once in a while, I'll take a day off, but not this week. This week, we're playing a game in which this is strange because we can actually jump right into it. For folks joining us for the first time, normally we're joined by a third, and we kind of have to do a little bit of banter before we jump into things. Today, not so much, but to give people a moment to just sort of trickle in.
Mm-hmm.
How's your week, Anthony? How are things going over there?
It was great. Okay, for those of you who are avid watchers of this show, do you remember we played a game called Broken? Is that what it was called, Kurt? I think that's what it was called. It was a game in which me and Kurt were breaking up. We were playing two characters in a relationship. Our relationship was falling apart, and we each brought 5 objects to the stream that we were going to destroy on stream. Very fun. Did a little Valley Village run before we started. Grabbed some things. One of the items that I chose was a book, The Life of Pi, and I tore pages out of it. Live on stream. It was great, super fun. But now I had a book that I had kind of torn the heart out of, and that seemed like a little messed up. So use all parts of the Buffalo vibe. I knew I needed to do something. I needed to turn the book I destroyed making one piece of art into another piece of art, and that opportunity came Saturday. I went to a friend's birthday party, and me and this friend, we went to high school together, and we did a creative writing program together. And so I made them a blackout poetry birthday card, where you take a page of a book, and you grab a Sharpie, and you black out the words until you're left with just words that make out a poem. And so I did that for their birthday card, and then I was like, this is so fun, brought it with me, and then we made blackout poetry at their birthday party. And flower crowns. So I'm just sitting around wearing a flower crown, making blackout poetry. Just the best Saturday one could imagine.
That is the best Saturday one could imagine. What flowers are yet existent in Toronto? Did you have to buy?
The plastic variety.
Of course, sure. Almost the best Saturday we could imagine.
That's right.
Pretty great though.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
We did vandalize. We, as poets, you're allowed to vandalize books as long as you're turning them into something that's almost a book. Hi to Otto. Hi to Jamie. Hi to the bot that's asked us to add them on Discord. Nice to meet you.
Hi, bot. Let's see if we can remove it.
Well, I mean,
do you want to leave it?
Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun to have a little machine fan?
Yeah, a little robot. We gotta start making friends with the robots. They're gonna be our companions on this earth.
Everybody needs a little robot, you know?
A little robot. They didn't hurt nobody. Sometimes they do.
But don't add the robot or it may hurt you.
How was your weekend? Did you make any poetry?
I did technically, I guess, now that you mention it.
Amazing.
There's so in my Discord server, people often sort of throw design ideas out there, or we'll be talking about something and then get distracted by an idea and be like, no, that would be a cool game. And that happened, as it always does. And so in this case, it was a game called Flesh Heart, about a group of simulacra who are all on the verge of becoming human, but only one of them can, and the rest simply never make the transition.
Oh my God.
And I was like, well, I can do that. I can make that. That's fine. So I'm most of the way through a draft right now. But at some point, as I was writing the intro, I was like, oh, This is a poem. So technically, yes, I did write a poem this week. Do I always write poems for my role-playing games? No, but it's also not the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. What proportion of weeks do you write poetry in?
Um, Gosh, it's kind of thrown off. Oh no, actually it's not. I would say it's relatively low unless I'm like working towards a project. Because sometimes I have to do it on purpose. I don't just idly start writing poetry. I have to be like, okay, it's writing poetry time, and then I write a bunch of poetry.
Yeah, that makes sense. The thing I really felt. Sorry, did you have a thought?
No. Go for it.
The thing I really felt on Saturday was that like it was just kind of a lazy day. I didn't try to do anything too much. I wrote poetry. I sat around writing poetry, and then went to a party and wrote poetry. And there was just like this like feeling of like time didn't really exist. I just kind of like did stuff as long as it took, and then finished it.
Sure.
And I was like making art, and it really felt like a love letter to a previous version of me. Like there's a version of me that exists in like 2009 to 2014 that like that's their like major day. That's what they're always doing. That's kind of like their MO. And it's just certainly not the version of me that exists now. And it was so nice to just like go and be that person for a bit. Arguably, they're a better person than I am. But it was interesting to really like reconnect. It like felt very alienating almost, because I was like, oh yeah, I used to be like this all the time.
Right,
and that's very shocking to realize that you've had that amount of discontinuity at different points in your life. Hi, Rapala.
It is strange, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about exactly how everyone approaches hobbies here, but for me, I tend to be sort of deep into something for a while. And maybe other activities will come and go. Maybe there's a different prioritization that shifts over time. For a while, I was reading and writing poetry daily, really. I don't do it as much anymore, but I still do it, and I think it's fun.
That's cool.
I'm glad that you got a chance to tap into former Anthony.
Do you have explicit former Kurt's that you can think of?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I used to play music every day with my roommates. I was in a
thinking about
band
that.
with everyone I lived with. And so we would play. And there is like a part of me that misses that communal music creation, vamping on a theme, just like idly noodling around. The equivalent of doodling with a musical instrument, really.
Right.
It's a special feeling.
It's very cool.
Creative. I think there's something special about music in particular because it's so immediate and visceral, and it just happens in front of you. It unfurls. Whereas with art, if you're collaborating with someone, it's rarely like simultaneous.
Yeah, that's right. I mean? There's no version of doodling live, right? Like you might work on something and then pass it to someone, but very rarely do you do it live. Except for this.
Except for this, in which we will be improvising a story together live on air for you folks today. So for all of you that are joining us, this is as good a segue as ever into the game that we'll be playing today. Anthony and I are going to be playing a game by Jason Tochi, I believe the name is pronounced, called 2400. It is a lo-fi space RPG. There are about a dozen different, you could call them modules, which can be clicked and clacked together like so many pieces of Lego in a set. But what we are doing today is a module called XOT. XOT. I am going to XOT. It occurs to me that this will go better for Anthony if Anthony has a copy of XOT.
Yeah, I have not received anything for this stream, which I thought maybe that's just the way it's going to be.
You don't really need anything, but since I didn't give you anything to write down with either, well, I shouldn't give you anything. Maybe I don't give you anything. Maybe. Yeah. Screw it. No, you don't get to see anything. We'll do this old school.
For the viewer, videos can be a bit weird for 1 second just as we reset something, and then we'll be back. Sorry, just a little audio sync issue. and I think we're
I
probably better
asked
now.
you not to store audio in the sink, Anthony.
I'm sorry. It's just I didn't have time to wash it yet. It's soaking.
Right. Just getting ready.
Yeah.
Just getting ready for that deep clean. Hello, Marvel Man.
Hey,
We
Marvel
are
Man.
well.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on over. Kurt was just telling us that we are playing a game called 2400, a lo-fi space RPG. By lo-fi, we mean like kind of like a vision of the future from the past a little bit, and things are just like a little muddy, a little broken. Things are patchworked together. That's the kind of vibe we're going for. Honestly, I guess sort of like just Star Warsy. I suppose they did that.
I suppose so, yeah. I'm trying to figure out if that's quite what they mean when they say lo-fi. Like,
Yeah,
is that because I don't necessarily think that that's what lo-fi means in this case. I think lo-fi might be trying to evoke the idea that the creation itself is a little scrappy.
like the actual game itself is.
Rather than the
Not
setting.
in the setting. Okay,
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And that's an intriguing principle, but uh, yeah, not something for me to say. So, right, today our game is called Zot. Settlers adapt to a world littered with unstable alien devices. This appeals to a particular part of me because I have recently been enjoying a game called Caves of Cud, in which you often stumble on strange devices from
Caves of
different
Cud.
places. Yes, it looks like it looks like a game that was made, I don't know when. It doesn't look like a game that came out in 2026, but it might look like a game that was started 17 years before 2026 because that's
Which is
true.
true.
Yes,
Whoa, crazy.
which is totally fascinating to me specifically. And I suppose that is enough blathering on. Let's talk about this game.
Did you give me
It's
rules somewhere?
No, you're not going to get any
Okay.
after all.
No
But
rules
you
for me.
can jot
Okay.
down a couple things about your character if you like,
Sure.
because you're going to be making one. And I am not, because this game has a referee of sorts in me who will play the world, and you who will play the character that you are.
Okay.
Like many games, but not many games that we play.
Sure.
I had a funny moment, folks, when I realized that Anthony prefers sci-fi, and I went, I got to remember that when it's just me and Anthony.
True, true. I was
But
telling
I
Kurt
don't
that
know
I.
what kind of sci-fi,
Ooh,
to be
interesting.
fair.
Yeah. I was telling Kurt that I don't really read any fantasy, and it just makes me like a little like alienated from a certain type of nerd, especially the kinds of nerds that like to play Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, I don't really, I love Lord of the Rings, but that's kind of where it ended for me. But sci-fi, I'm into sci-fi, unironically.
Nice, sick, fun. And we will unironically play some sci-fi today. So it's been a generation since the Ark fell. Long enough to lose knowledge of space flight, more than long enough for this planet to change you. Small settlements dot a strange landscape, desperate for travelers like you to trade resources, share knowledge, and master the exotica of a lost civilization. You and I, Anthony, might call those artifacts. Adapt to this world, and humanity may survive what those who came before could not. So that is our premise here.
Can you tell me the beginning again? Just how long have we been here?
A generation.
A generation.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to look back too. I was like, yeah, how long? Yeah, so humanity's been here a generation. We can't fly into space no more. But there's settlements across the landscape and plenty of folks who are eager to have travelers that can facilitate trade and share knowledge. So,
Cool.
Anthony, to create your character, I am going to get you to roll a d20 first or virtually do so. Hey, time roller.
Whoops.
Whoops.
All right, let's roll a d20 here. I've rolled an 18 on my first roll.
Okay, your name is Taylor.
Sick.
Great. I guess I should write things down too, because who knows if I can remember anything. I probably can't remember anything. This is a song about forgetting stuff, 'cause I forget it all the time.
For folks who've watched Kurt for a bit, does he strike you as a person who has a bad memory? I think
Hmm.
you were telling me that this is true about you, and I was like, "Whoa, that feels weird." I feel like you're. It feels like you're processing a lot of things at any one time, and I understand that that's different than like remembering things, but it feels like they like should go together.
It's like a
And
long-term memory is bad. I think short-term memory pretty good, but I also have like all kinds of systems, all kinds of systems that, like for example, I've just taken on. This is such an embarrassing, like masculine partner in a relationship story, because it's about invisible labor. My partner has been refilling the humidifier for like since we got it, and that's something that we do in the winter so that our skin doesn't, crack open into a bunch of pieces and feel itchy and painful, which is a very useful service to have. How often do you have to refill a humidifier?
wildly, it's like every day,
It's like 2 to 3 times a day, even.
right?
And so to take some load off, like we've been pretty intentional with a lot of the like domestic labor because, again, so often things happen the way that I'm about to describe. Essentially, I didn't realize that 300 to 400 times a year, my partner is doing a chore which takes not long, but it's up there, right? Twice a day, every day, just up there in the brain.
Yeah,
And certainly, if my partner's not doing it, neither am I, and therefore that's 400 things a year that I'm just glossing by, not participating in. So
interesting.
in taking this on, the way that I can is by setting like essentially an alarm twice a day that'll
Right.
be like, fill it, because otherwise,
You won't think
it's
about
not
it.
there.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least until the habit is formed. But
Right.
yeah, so it's not
Very.
great.
That's very interesting. Those are the kind of sneaky things. I got my partner a humidifier recently, and I was like, "This will make life better." And then I realized, yeah, you have to refill it like once or twice a day. It feels like what? How is that true?
And
That
I was
feels
instantly
wrong,
like, maybe I should plumb this into the wall somehow. Because
right?
it seems ridiculous.
Is that not a
It,
thing? I've never heard of that
it,
before.
it is,
Is
I
it
think.
like integrated into your like air HVAC or something? Oh,
Now we are a little particular about what it is. Ours can be like cleaned. Like you
yeah,
can,
it's important.
which is important. And also, you'd be shocked how many humidifiers you can't just like, like take out the vessel and clean it.
Yeah,
What the heck? What are they thinking? What are they
yeah.
thinking? Thing that's wet all the time can't be cleaned. But I'm digressing. Your name is Taylor, and let's
Taylor.
find out something else about you. Please roll a d20.
Oh, sick. I would be
This
happy
is a
to.
trait that we're going to get a trait for you that lets you do unusual things.
Ooh, a 4. What unusual things can I do?
Oh, interesting. You actually roll one more time and I'll let you choose between two options.
Okay. I've also rolled a 14.
Salty Tomato, we are talking about a humidifier system. Also, I've recently learned who Salty Tomato is. Sometimes there's people from my real life who say things on our chats, and I simply don't know that.
Okay. Because for a while I was trying to figure out whether Salty Tomato was somebody I knew or somebody maybe that knew you. Because I felt
It's me.
they felt too familiar. That's nice to know. Good. I actually had headcanon for who Salty Tomato was for a little while until I realized I was very wrong. They do
It's
not
on
watch
my
the
side.
stream. Yeah, yeah. 4 and 14. What are my choices?
Your options are you may be fearless or fanged. This is a trait that lets you do unusual things, and sometimes you can roll the die against relevant risks.
I guess I want to be fanged. That sounds way cooler.
Sick. You are fanged. I will write that down. Taylor is fanged. Why don't you roll one more time on a name as well, just so you can pick a second one if you like.
8.
You could also be Hyun or Taylor.
I'm gonna stick with Taylor. I mean, I don't know. I like it.
Sure. I mean, I already said it so many times.
Yeah.
So Taylor is fanged. You will also roll one more time. at least. Nope. You'll roll another d20. It's not the last time.
Not the last time. Okay.
And give me 2 of them.
9.
Okay, so 9. This is going to determine your vocation. So give me
Oh,
one.
sorry, one more. That's what you said. Sorry, my brain wasn't working. 1, 9, and 1.
9 and 1. Here are your 2 options for a vocation. I will allow you to be either a chronicler.
Okay, sounds
means
cool.
that you have a portable terminal with a camera, or you could be a mystic with robes and some kind of extra trait.
Yeah, that sounds cool, though. I want to be a mystic.
Cool. Fanged was your previous trait.
Yeah.
What trait would you like as mystic? The example it gives is clairvoyant, but you need not pick that.
Oh, so I just get to choose, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Cursed with premonitions.
Cursed with premonitions.
This is the kind of trait where when you choose it, you put a lot of tax on the person running the game.
I mean, in some ways, you're just letting me set up things to knock down later.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Great. So that is your vocation. You also have a knife.
That's great.
I was going to say a knife and robes. A knife and clothes, but we already know you have robes, so it's sort of like we know this.
Right. Yeah.
I suppose you have clothes and robes atop them. Great. Cool. I will now ask you to roll 2 d6s twice.
2 d6s twice.
Yeah.
First roll is a 7. I'm assuming you don't want the numbers.
Don't add them.
No, okay. The first one's a 5 and a 2.
Great.
And then you want another set, right?
I do.
A 2 and a 1.
Okay. So here's your distinction, something strange or useful that stands out even on this world. Do you have a hypnotic gaze or cameras for eyes?
I guess I've got cameras for eyes. Fine. I got a rule of cool.
Cool. All right. Actually, finally, for creating Taylor, you'll start with 3 Zot, which are small, unstable, single-use exotic devices. Exotic being the root word that forms Zot.
I see.
So we're going to combine a couple words from a list, and then I'll interpret what that means and give you a sort of idea.
Okay, perfect.
So I would ask if you could roll 2 d20s.
Okay.
We'll just go 1 by 1 since you get 3 of these. Sorry, we'll go 2 by 2 since you get 3 of these.
So roll 2 at the same time.
Yeah.
I rolled a 17 and an 18.
Anthony, you're supposed to add them up. That's a joke. 35. You've got a spatial transformer. Give me another one.
A spatial transformer.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 7 and a 20.
Okay. 7 and a 20 is a hydric transporter.
Hydric transporter. Interesting.
Spatial transformer and hydric transporter.
Hydric implying water of some sort.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so.
And then one more?
Yeah, one more.
One more. 2. Yeah, 13 and 16. Pretty high rolls.
A photonic scanner.
Photonic scanner.
So here is what I think that means. Your spatial transformer will let you modify the size of like the volume of something once.
Okay.
I wouldn't quite call it a shrink or growth ray. You can sort of defy physics on some level with it. Maybe the inside of something is larger than the outside.
Right.
Maybe you're stretching its dimensions in a different way, but you have a spatial transformer, single-use Zot.
Okay.
A hydric transporter. I think this is an exosuit of sorts.
I see.
I think because it's like a hydraulically driven pair of legs, essentially, that let you move across the terrain. And this is, I think, maybe the only way that someone who's essentially just a prophet, a mystic, can make these treks on their own. Except that I said it's single use. So in lieu of that, I think we'll say this is a hydric transporter that, when activated, could let you cross a particularly hairy piece of domain or let you outrun something. It's essentially like a mechanical capsule that, once expanded, will only have so much juice. You certainly don't know how to recharge it. No one here does. It's from the civilization that fell.
Cool. Is the hydric part that I'm the hydric body, that I can move a hydric body very quickly?
Yeah, because you're made of water mostly.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Cool. A little teleporter kind of one use.
Yeah, and your photonic scanner certainly has a much higher resolution and better understanding of objects than your camera eyes. I think a photonic scanner has an element of like a full electron microscope pass around something, and you could understand it completely, which is sometimes rare in this environment.
So like a full analyzer of something. Okay.
For most people, it wouldn't even be that useful, but because you've got a port in your eyes, you can get that data. But of course, you can only get it once.
Single use.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So I think the easiest way that we can do this is to go through the general rules of the game. They're not that tricky. That's part of what I think is so great about games like this. Side note, I almost brought us onto a game of Lasers and Feelings today.
Oh, okay.
Lasers and Feelings, for those who might not be familiar, is at this point, classic game of pulpy sci-fi, often silliness, designed by John Harper, who would later go on to design Blades in the Dark, which is a hell of a calling card. And if you were around at the time that Lasers and Feelings dropped, I just remember being so wickedly impressed by how sharp the graphic design was. At that time, you did not see one-pagers that looked that polished, that pretty, that together as a product. So huge shout out to John Harper, even today, for having made Lasers and Feelings and inspired, I think, hundreds of designers. But that's not what we're playing today. Today we're playing 2400. And so here's some rules. You are going to be moving through the world, and when you come up against a situation in which your action would be impossible, if it would demand a cost, if it would have extra steps, if it would present a risk, I'm going to ask you to make a roll.
Okay.
You can revise your plans before you're committing, changing the goal or stakes. You're rolling to avoid the risk that could happen, and maybe to make sure that you're successful in the things that you say you'll be doing. Also, I'm Mikey. Rolling is pretty simple in this game. You'll roll one skill die. By default, it's a d6, which is a six-sided dice for those playing along at home. Actually, don't play along at home. I can't accommodate you. There's not enough communication here.
Kurt, I attacked the alien. I attacked the alien, Kurt. In chat.
Yeah, that's you guys. That's Anthony's impression of you.
Wow. Sorry.
You are going to be rolling a d6, and if you roll a 1 to 2, disaster. You're going to suffer the full risk. Maybe you'll fail the action as well, depending.
Right.
Depends on whether it's mutually exclusive with your goal or not.
Okay.
The risk, I mean.
Yeah.
Setback, rolling a 3 to 4. A lesser risk, a partial success. If you're risking death, you're injured.
Okay.
Finally, a 5+ is a success. Higher the roll, the better. Now, where your skills come in, where your traits, I guess I should say, come in, is that if you're using a relevant trait, instead of rolling a d6, you're rolling a d8.
Okay. Okay. So, cool.
That's kind of nice to have. Indeed, you can also sort of invest in yourself in this game. You can work in interesting ways. When your highest die in a roll rolls its maximum, you roll a 6 on a d6, you can turn it into a 1, which is not good for you now. But in doing that, you can either gain a new trait, raise a trait, or vocations skill die by 1 step. So you can make that skill even better. Now you're rolling a d10 instead of a d8. Now you're rolling a d12 instead of a d10. or you can add or replace a word in a trait, vocation, or distinction. And now your trait again is fanged
Okay.
and also cursed with premonition. Your vocation is that you are a mystic, and your distinction is that you've got them camera eyes.
And so can I roll on all of those traits?
All of those by default will be rolled at a d8.
Okay, and then
instead of a d6.
So say I'm rolling for something else unrelated to those. I roll a 6, and I'm like, I'll change it to a 1.
Yeah.
Do I just like gain a new trait or something? I'm like, when I'm...
You may.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. However, changing it to a 1, of course, does have the immediate disastrous consequences, whatever they may be.
Sure. Okay.
Cool.
And rolling a natural 1 doesn't do it.
Rolling a natural 1 doesn't
like give you more experience. You have to roll a top and sacrifice it to get them.
That's right. Bonus. Yeah, you have to see that you have rolled well and then say, no, I didn't. I'll roll well later, I hope.
That's a fun mechanic. I like that.
Yeah, it's a neat little thing. I have pretty much gone through the whole rules. There's just a couple more things that I want to lay out that you can do. It's okay if these fall to the wayside, but I want you to know that they're options. You might run into more Zots.
Okay.
So those artifacts that you can use that are pretty powerful things. And then there's a you can try to identify them.
Okay.
You may or may not succeed.
Okay.
If you're carrying 4 or more of them, things are a little unstable with you. That's not really great. So we might have to roll to see if bad things happen to you if you're lugging around a whole bunch of Zots. Finally, let's cap this off. When you use a Zot in a risky situation, the roll is going to tell you if it's been depleted already or if it was depleted after this use. Like you might try to use it and then it fails.
Every time I use it.
But it's more likely to be successful than most rolls. So
wait, is this every time I use a Zot or only after the first time?
Every time you use a Zot, you're going to roll and see if it just broke, if it was already broken, or if actually it's got some more juice in it. Lucky me.
Okay. So there's no guarantee it'll even work once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
But it's the same risk that you're taking on with any roll. It's not an additional risk. I would consider it part of the main roll.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I think I get it.
Yeah, I gave you a little more than you needed, probably. But yeah, I'm just going to quickly scan the scenario options and roll a couple dice of my own. And I would ask that maybe you vamp with chat for just a moment while I decide your fate.
For sure. Over in YouTube chat, Mikey is describing that his username and profile picture have been messed with by his sister. Just classic. Usually on the internet when someone says, oh, that was my sister who logged into my account and did that, they're lying. But I'm not sure what the advantage here would be for you to be lying. So
you've got a lot of sisters to contend with too.
That's true. But none of them have ever tried to log into my account and change things. That has not once happened. The closest I get to that is that in middle school, I had a crush on this girl, and I had a very distinctive email address. And her best friend visited from out of town, found out about the situation, went home, made the same email address, but had switched the underscore for a period, and then texted this girl that I liked, like a love letter, like emailed her from this fake email address. And I arrived to school on Monday, and everybody was acting super weird. I couldn't figure out why until somebody was like, we saw your email. And I was like, what email? I don't understand. And then they were like, and then there was lots of discussion. At some point, somebody was like, okay, spell your email address all the way through. And that is how I proved my innocence.
That's actually the meanest thing I've heard. I had a kind of similar thing happen to me in middle school, because middle school is full of people who aren't quite yet aware of the consequences of their actions and the enormity of life's experience in another person's body.
Yeah, true.
It's just a wretched time to be a human being on either side of the equation.
It really
A
is. A lot of bad shit.
lot of bad shit. Whoa. Sorry, I'm speaking of a lot of bad shit. I'm just rolling on what's going to happen to you.
Whoa.
It's going fine. It's going fine. Everything's going fine. It's going fine. It's going fine. Everything's going fine.
Okay, guys, everything's going fine.
Guys, everything's going fine. I don't know if you knew that. We'll do one more roll, and then we'll get you started here.
What is he up to over there? I think it's really weird playing like a solo RPG in this sense when you're the only player and there's a full game master. I always find it it's a little peculiar. It feels like it just feels so lonely.
You have no allies here.
Yeah.
It is only you and I.
Yes.
Yeah, I was debating whether or not to throw you into one of the like classic asymmetrical kind of story games. Oh, there was one where we're dying on a space station because everything broke down and our cryo sleep ended. And there was one where, oh, it's a relationship and I went, no, sci-fi for Anthony. And Anthony will play almost OSR.
I've seen a couple of live plays online where it's this structure, just one like dungeon mastery person and one player, and it actually like if you're good enough, it's actually really good. Like it's actually can be really compelling. So,
well, let's find out.
We'll see.
Taylor is just arriving in a settlement. The place that you've just arrived at, I will describe in a moment, but I want to know what you've just completed. Recalling that Mystic is your vocation.
Okay.
Something you've just finished in a settlement that you came from before you crossed the plains to reach this place.
Okay.
Can you tell me anything about that?
Yeah. My services are usually requested when somebody's interacting with some remains of the old world, the civilization that once existed here. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and thus it is the case here that the old tech does strange, incomprehensible things, and my role is a half familiarity, just enough to kind of understand some rules of thumb, some heuristics for dealing with the old tech that graces this place. So I think there was an automated defense system that had activated and was haunting a small frontier town. Anybody over a certain height and with dark hair was getting targeted by microscopic drones that you couldn't see. A very strange mystery to solve. Why, only 6'5" cowboys from the frontier were waking up full of holes. But I think I was able to figure it out using a Zot here and there and put an end to their particular scourge. And decided that they started to find out too much about me and it's time to move on.
You approach a settlement that you've heard of before but haven't previously been to. Mesmer Spire. Named for these formations of twisting rock coming up from the prismatic magma flows. You've crossed the prismatic magma flows before. They're very common in this area, a kind of igneous rock that shimmers in a strange otherworldly veneer. But this is the only place where these formations twist and pull into the sky. From the top of one of these hollowed out spires, you see a signalman raise a flag and then fire a flare. The flare being a question: what do you seek here?
Do I have my own flare system to respond?
While you don't have the flare system to respond, they have optics that can see hand signals. And I think that you would be familiar with the general, like the couple common hand signals used by scouts in this area.
Nice. I make the universal symbol for somewhere to sleep and something to eat.
Um, you see, you can't see much from here, but there is a flash of color and a door. I think a set of sheet metal doors on the outside of one of these rock formations opens wide. Um, there's no bridge that they need to lower. It's relatively rudimentary, but as the doors swing open and you hear the do you think, here's a question, do you think you can breathe on this planet, or do you need some
Hmm.
kind of additional mechanisms?
um, I think there's some mechanisms perhaps. I have cameras for eyes, as we
Mm-hmm.
know. I think these are maybe like at least like slightly like old tech augmented cameras.
For sure.
Part of the reason why I'm like useful with this tech. And so I'm imagining maybe that goes a little bit further, and there's also like a strange kind of like pipe like thing placed over my throat that does some filtration of air and some
Sure.
automated breathing.
And can you get by without it? You can, but if you're going to be out here for any kind of extensive amount of time, at least from the spores, you should have something. The spores? Right, of course, the spores. Some of these spires have a cap on top of them. Were they part of this magma formation, or are they some kind of growth? The thought crosses your mind before approaching close enough to enter the lock, which closes the doors behind you and opens them into Mesmer Spire. There are two people who greet you there. Um, one is a guard, and the other is a holy person, sorts.
Okay. I'm gripping my hydric transporter like tight in one hand, just in case I would have to get out of here quickly. You never know about these people. But I think upon seeing the holy person, I relax a little bit. I nod my head. Taylor, Spire Wanderer, an old
Hyun,
whisperer.
Hyun, myself, speaker to the mists. Hyun says, and shoots you a gesture of the old ways. Something that predates landing on this planet, a little quaint, perhaps, but well-meaning generally.
It's a pleasure to meet another.
Yourself as well.
Yes. I serve the outer communities. I bring them knowledge of the old ways.
Hyun turns to the guard and says, "Beauties," and she lowers her poleaxe.
I appreciate it. Have you had much trouble out here? The wanderers seem rabid.
The only trouble we're having, responds the guard, and then she looks over to Hyun as if seeking permission. Hyun nods. Well, I suppose you'll find our trouble soon enough, but are you the type who seeks work?
Always. I make my way with my hands, my mind, and these.
Is there like a zoom or anything that happens when you do that? Do you have a little flare that you do?
Yeah. There's like one of them's like a telescopic lens, and like just the right eyeball like goes like.
Intriguing. May I step closer and look? Says the guard.
By all means, there's no lasers in them, just cameras.
I'm not seeking to confiscate your eyes, traveler.
I appreciate it. You wouldn't be the first to try.
She pulls up a flap from the cap that she's wearing, sort of a head encircling tight thing that would be good if you're going at a high speed, I suppose, though it's not immediately clear what she'd need that for. And the her ear is clearly some kind of mechanical implant as well.
As she gets
Marn,
close, I'm going to keep my mouth closed No use anybody seeing the fangs. They're easier to notice at close range.
I'm Garak.
You're
It's a
Garak.
pleasure. Garak.
Nice to meet you.
Garak leans in and raises a hand, and then only Atcher, that's fine, sort of like briefly touches one of the lenses, not on the lens, of course. Who would do that?
So rude.
But like looking at the mechanism, nods. How? If I may ask. Not a single one comes by their tech here in the same way, and certainly well, you can't help but be curious, can you?
It's not a happy story.
Rarely is, says Hyun, who's still there, consulting, I think, a ledger of the recent people who've passed through.
One of those stories of disability and hurt turned to something useful. I grew up in a rough part. Worked from a young age down in the docks, in the sand pits.
By the old docks, the docks to the stars. Well, no more work there anymore, I suppose, is there?
No, dried up. And while it was drying, the tensions got high. My employer didn't like my work. Took two...
Dried up. There is work here, but we lack something else.
What do you lack?
You know of the caves, do you not?
I'm not familiar.
And I think Garrick, she walks over to a panel on the wall and like pushes a series of inputs so that there's I think there's an old intercom system hooked up that can accept audio from the outside. And if they'd been more concerned about you, they probably would have had a conversation through. But in here, you can hear through their comms a sort of murmuring.
Okay.
The murmuring caves, just out that way. We need them, and they murmur. Traveler, Taylor, you say?
Taylor.
Taylor.
It's an old family name.
It's a strange name. And I think Garrick and Hyun both exchange a small laugh because it is quite a strange name. We've been having challenges of late. Our caps spore, which they have not before. And so now we need a place of shelter until it passes, for in the higher places, too thick it is to do anything. Certainly down here, it's fine. But in the spire, our scouts can't be up there.
And this is new, you say?
Of course, we would not have settled here if faced with such a challenge, says Hyun, almost a little offended at the suggestion that it's not.
And these structures, like touch the wall of the spire, they were not created by the fungal roots themselves?
Do they feel like fungus? And I think Hyun walks over and like gives it a knock. What sense do you get from the sound that comes out of it?
I think it sounds like stone, but like porous stone. It has holes and cavities inside. A complex construction that I think hints at a non-standard creation of some sort. Magma, perhaps, or something weirder.
Sure.
I just... And the spires have been inhabited for a long time?
As long as any place out here. The spires were seen at a distance, of course, Surely that's how you came to find this place yourself.
Yes, of course, of course. So you mean to retreat to the caves?
If we can. But the murmuring, I have a sense. I can't quite see it in my mind's eye, but there is a sense of foreboding. The caves don't portend well. Have you ever seen something that you're not seeing?
Good, yes. Do you have them? The visions? The feelings of things to come?
You are a mystic. Why did you not say so? A mystic visiting me here. Strange times indeed.
But perhaps what you need, can't help but notice you're stuck between a strange spire which has gone to bloom and a cave full of unknown murmurs. It's not a good situation to be in.
May you speak plainly enough?
You know you're in charge of this place.
One can say so. One can say so. But we have no formal leader. We are a commune of sorts. I would ask your assistance if you will give it, but I would not send you away just as you have arrived. You may take your time here. We are not a place poisoned just yet. Feel free to do what you may. Take your rest.
Yes.
And then I would ask your aid.
Of course, I think the storms might be starting, so perhaps I'll rest here a while.
As
Shelter.
you say that, you can hear the winds picking up outside even now. And there's a swirling that is almost too lovely as the sands that have eroded away from the prismatic magma flows are swept up and moved through the sky. So, Hylock, by the way. So you find yourself in this settlement, which has pretty much all the trappings that you would find in a small settlement anywhere. What would you like to do here?
Yeah, I'm gonna climb the spire, looking for some place to lay my head. Maybe a friendly-looking family, perhaps, that might take me in, or maybe an inn or proper establishment like that.
Do you know anyone who's gone out to these parts? While you haven't been here, you might know someone who has.
Yeah, I can't lie. I did have a bit of a fling with a gentleman named Chris. Another strange name. And he went out this way. He said he was looking for somewhere to settle down, and so I have been wandering this direction, wondering if we might cross paths again. I don't know if he's here, but it's worth taking a look.
I think after asking a couple of people to point you in the right direction, you do find yourself at a residence, nothing grand, but comfortable enough. And upon knocking on the stone door, it swings open and you find Chris. Chris looks a couple years older. Who doesn't? And isn't the only one here, but you can tell that this is another visitor rather than Chris having a family here. Taylor, here in Mesmer Spire. I never thought I'd see the day. Come in.
How lucky am I to stumble into the same place that, well, you're staying, at least for now. Have you settled down here?
This is my spot. Yes, but you're right. I have visitors. This is Loring. Loring lived in the higher towers, and so she's here for now. I suppose our other visitor is out. Come in. Did you want some tea, something to drink?
I am parched. I would love some tea.
Sure. They have a particular way of brewing tea here that involves that same rock being so porous, things move through it. And at least this tells you that if they've been doing this for a while, it must be inert. Um, as it steeps through, begins to bloom, that scent on the air, you realize it's the same tea that Chris has been drinking since you knew him elsewhere.
You said you weren't gonna stop until you've figured out something. Got some
Some
answers to your questions about what this place used to be, but seem to have stopped early.
Sometimes you think you'll find answers and you just find an edge. I can't get a sense of it, Taylor. Can't get a sense of the shape of this place. Everything you find is another peculiarity. I, last time we were talking, you had this Zot, like a cube that just expanded and expanded, and then, well, I can tell even from the look on your face, you don't have it anymore.
No, I had to get out of somewhere in a hurry. Pretty good step stool.
Now, every time I'd run into another Zod, I'd find myself saying, I don't know a damn thing about any of this. Just another mystery. You understand? Some kind of sorcery, some kind of atomic witchcraft. I can't begin.
They they knew more than us. I've told you before, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you now, I believe you. What are you doing out here? You were working at the docks.
Yeah, I'm still working, but I work for myself now. It's nice when your place of business is the road. I had these put in. I mean, you've seen them, but
Sure.
they help me, Chris.
Ah,
I can
you're
see through them as if, well, some way it's like I'm seeing the Zots the way they were meant to be seen. You know, with the right context, through the right lens.
well, that's one way of putting it. I'm hearing from you that that means you're a traveler. Traveler now going from place to place.
Yes.
That means I wager a guess Hyun asked you to go out to the caves, didn't he?
You know, he did. And is that what they ask every traveler to do?
Past couple. He keeps a little ledger. When he sent him out,
They don't come back, huh?
not yet.
And I guess you traveled here before the spores and before the caves.
It's recent. The caves aren't recent. They've always murmured. You can't see a damn thing in there, though, I'm telling you, K. Taylor. You go in there, it's dark as night. You shine a light into the corners, and it just ricochets back in a million different colors. Doesn't make a lick of sense in there. It makes sense if we can open it up. It would be extremely valuable to have that as a place to be sheltered from the filter storms, but I can't figure it out. I just have to watch.
So you're telling me that Chris went out far expanses looking for an answer to something, to find out something, to make sense of all this. You just got a little too far out, and the storms got a bit intense, and you just stopped here? It doesn't make sense. With no answers, just a spire in the middle of nowhere?
Uh, Chris looks a little abashed, but you can see his friend staying with him. Her mouth turns to a firmer line, not impressed with the idea of those kinds of risks. Look, there's something to be said for just being in a place. You understand, don't you?
I mean, I did, but you didn't. I guess I should let you grow and change. Not only I, who's lived the last 2 years.
Hmm. Last time I went out, um, Chris pulls off a glove, and you can see that there's part of his hand eaten through, little tiny holes bored here and there, and he brushes his dark hair across from his head, but it stretches a little. The table's a little low for his tall frame. Things can just eat at you out there, Taylor.
Oh, does that happen around here?
No, this was town over. Got a bit of wanderlust a little while back and thought I'd see what was out there, but I found myself less.
Oh,
Hightailed it.
oh. I solved that one.
What do you mean?
I grab a glass jar from underneath my cloak and pull it out. And I give it a little rattle. And it's just like, it's like sounds like sand shaking around inside. Here, and I pull out a loop and give it to him. Maybe these ring a bell.
Chris holds the loop up to his eye and with a practiced sort of twist, looks into the set of nanobots you collected. Well, I'll be damned. And you could just see that. With those eyes of yours?
Yeah, they can slow stuff down. Even have a bit of a rudimentary isolation identification thing. I get a sense
all
for
right,
it.
all right. I get it. You're cut out for this, and I wasn't.
Things have really turned. Doc Kid, Wild Wanderer. Now you're holed up, hiding from the nanobots.
Don't rub it in, Tay. But as he says this, I think he stands up, walks over, sort of gives you like an affectionate, like swipes his thumb across your cheek, says, "Stay here tonight. Whatever you're doing here, you can do it tomorrow morning."
Okay, you don't have to ask twice. I've been looking for you for a long time.
Chris nods to his friend who's staying, and you know, it's not hard to see what what's transpiring between you two, and she can take a hint. So she steps out and makes herself scarce. The night passes with its pleasantries and its pleasures, and in the morning you wake to see the second sun rising over the horizon, that bigger one that casts those longer shadows, not that smaller one that seems so dull once the second rears its head. The caves now cast a shadow towards this place. They didn't seem so tall from below, but now you can see with the angle of the sun, they're fairly expansive, the system that weaves through this place. What do you do getting yourself ready before you're to go out this morning?
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What bad dream do I wake up from?
Um, it's one you've had before. You can never quite make out that sound. Always something just a little outside of the range of your ears, something that doesn't quite seem to land as speech, but it feels like it should. And every time you feel so close to understanding what's making this pit in your stomach, and you wake up just on the verge of cracking the code. And there's something else.
Something else.
There's something else.
What could it be? What's he doing?
Who's to say? A figure. Metal. Metal as if galvanized, as if dipped in something and coated in it. Somebody who would look like a settler if not for that metallic sheen and the way that they move over the sands like they're gliding on it. That's the last thing you always see before the dream cuts out. I'll also say hi Locke, hi Sorcery. I don't know if we've said it yet, but it's nice to see you folks.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Does anybody find me while I'm scrounging for food in their larder?
Whose larder? In the whole settlement's larder?
Oh, I was thinking, does Chris, maybe, yeah. Chris's.
Well, Chris would have given you permission.
Okay.
There's no question that Chris would want you to go out to this as prepared as one could be. Your call whether or not Chris walks up to you with this. Actually, no, it's Chris's friend.
Yeah.
You can't quite remember her name, but
is it sorry, Leighton? Or
close enough. Look,
sorry.
It's fine. Plain to see Chris cares for you. Am I not right?
We're fond of each other. We were. Sure. I remembered fondness.
Don't get yourself killed out there, all right?
Yeah.
None of us have lost enough people already on. It's hard on this planet.
It's hard. Did you have a family or anything at the top of the spire? Neighbors? They all make it out?
Mostly. My mother was already weak. She was part of the ship, you see. She knew before. Don't mourn for her too much on my account. We were never close. She couldn't ever put the before out of her head, you understand?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've met the type.
I had some parents of my own.
I guess we were lucky then. That's what they tell us.
Yeah, lucky to not know anything better than just trying desperately to survive every day.
Now, if you want to keep being lucky, I don't know what you can do with those. Points up at your eyes.
I'd do a little zoom in and out.
Cute.
Thank you.
But you keep safe out there. I don't feel like consoling anyone else. You understand?
I understand. Can I just ask you one question? I know what's happening up. But at the bottom of the spire, under the sand, what's down there?
I may not know. But Garrick, she hears things. You ask her more and she might tell you, but she might not.
Okay, I appreciate it. Do you mind if I take all of these? I might get hungry out there.
Fine, but it means you owe us one. So come back.
Pay that debt when I return. Triumphant.
And speaking of debts paid when one returns, hi, Jen. Hi, Otto. Lucky to see you folks again.
Welcome back.
I mean, we can't see you. It's really like a one-way seeing situation. This is complicated by the fact that Anthony is currently playing a character with cameras for eyeballs.
That's right. I've got cameras for eyes and I've got fangs. And we're playing 2400 and you have arrived to view it. I'm getting a call. It's definitely a scam call from Ottawa.
wow, what if it's me and I need to have a private word with you about where this game's going?
We both mute and just have a phone call for a bit. Well, Jen, that's a great point. We all have cameras for eyes if you think about it. That's true. What are eyes but little cameras made of meat?
I've got a friend with a photographic memory. I feel like that's pretty good. She'll come over, look at the board game wall, know immediately if we got anything new, like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's cool.
It's pretty incredible stuff.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, well, she used to be a regular customer at the board game cafe that Anthony and I both worked, and so she would also know immediately if the board game cafe got any new games. And you got to understand exactly how much more difficult that is to know.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
How was Jen's stream? What y'all do?
Yeah. You folks draw anything interesting? Or maybe you don't draw every time, and I just assume that that's the nature of your stream.
I assume so as well.
You were drawsters. But who's to say?
Yeah, right. Jen, don't listen, Jen. Everybody say honestly what you thought.
Yeah. Give really constructive feedback.
And then we can do our stream. How's it going?
Pocopia fan art. Is that just normal Pokemon fan art, but the human is a ditto?
Pocopia.
Real. Did you just draw Pokemon fan art and now you've called it Pocopia fan art so you can get those hot views? I wasn't ready for We Watched Teen Girl Squad, and it's taking every part of my power not to start quoting it, which would be bad for everyone.
What's Teen Girl Squad?
Oh, don't make it worse. It's a great piece. Homestar Runner sub series, I guess.
Really? Oh, that's fun.
From back in the day.
Wow. Quote it.
I simply won't. Unless I do it in part of narration, which is always a possibility, and Anthony will simply never know.
Jen, do you go by Gem on the internet? Or do I just smash two N's together into an M?
When Jen writes her name, the N's look like an M. And so for a very long time has been known as Gem.
Gem. Okay, there it is. Gem.
I didn't want to do that, but in fact, Zoom probably didn't even let me.
No, we didn't hear whatever you did.
I'm actually so pleased with that.
Zoom's got your back. It's like, you don't want to do this.
You don't want to do this. You don't want to quote that you have a crush on every boy.
If only it actually did that for all of our other bad jokes, that would have been great. If it didn't let us make any regrettable jokes.
What, was that a lore drop? Did we not know? Did we not know that Gem, this is a handwriting situation? Well, lore drop indeed then.
Lore drop.
So
amazing. Okay, well, welcome, y'all.
Recapping where we are at.
Yeah.
Anthony's character Taylor, a fanged mystic cursed with premonitions, with a knife and a set of robes, cameras for eyes, and a few pieces of old tech that might let Taylor do a little bit more than Taylor might otherwise be able to, is passing through a town of spires that has asked for help to reduce the danger or figure out what's going on in the nearby murmuring caverns, where they would seek shelter from the spore event that happened from the mushroom caps above. We got to engage with the raiders, Jen. We can't keep on blathering.
We co-sign.
have to be grateful. We would like to be. Also, we need a moment too.
Despite appearances, we don't love just only playing games nonstop for the rest of our lives. Pretty close, but sometimes we can be humans.
Pretty close, but there's humans.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some spores.
Human.
Once upon a time. Now he's just game man.
Game man. Okay. So you have just spent the night with your former paramour, your friend, your person you haven't seen for a while, Chris.
That's right.
And you have been sent out to investigate, but you haven't yet left the Mesmerspire, I think I called the town.
Yeah. This is such a stupid idea, but I want to leave Azot for Chris. uh, as a token.
Sure. What do you leave?
I'm gonna leave the spatial transformer, and there's a note. Uh, my infinitely expanding cube is gone, but I'm pretty sure this can do this to anything. You could be the cube. Good questions. And what is a zot? A zot is an exotic device, shortened to zot. These are artifacts from the old civilization that used to live on this planet.
Pre-humanity. We are one generation into crash landing here, essentially, and we don't know what these zots are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of us can identify some of them, and Taylor here has two of them left: a photonic scanner that can encapsulate and identify an object, and a hydric transporter that could move Taylor across or quickly along terrain.
Mm-hmm. Zot.
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 Okay. So I've left my spatial transformer with a little note on Chris's bedside table while he's in the sand shower, and then I slip out. I'm gonna make my way back down to the base of the spire, and I'm keeping my eyes out for Garrick.
Garrick is at her post. You spent a period of overnight and an evening. It was far enough for the guards to change and then to change once more. There Garrick stands, holding her poleaxe, eyes scanning something through the slit.
Is there anything interesting going on out there? Or?
Rarely, always. What do you want to know?
Actually, I have another question for you. Not about out there, but down there.
Now she turns fully towards you, resting her poleaxe on the floor. You gonna take him up on it then, huh?
I'm thinking about it. This is what I do for work, after all. I'm not just any traveler. You people have to understand this.
Sure. Everyone has to work, don't they?
But
I
anyways,
just don't understand how you could see another name marked down in that ledger. Oh, we're grateful if you can come back, but what happens in the Murmuring Caves isn't something that I've ever been able to puzzle out. You understand me? And
sure.
she lifts up that flap again and shows you the mechanical ear. And now you can see that it's doing its own kind of whirring and movement. Doesn't matter what frequency I turn to. Doesn't matter how closely, how distantly I listen. Nothing ever materializes. Have you ever felt like you just can't focus on something? Like you can almost see it, but not quite.
Yes, yes.
That's not how sound works. You understand? Sound is distant or it's near. It's not out of focus.
An auditory mirage of some sort.
I suppose. But it's no mirage. I can see the readings. They're real. I can get a printout. And I think as she says that, indeed, there's like a kind of a whirring, and there's like a piece of paper that she rips off of an earring, or what you thought was an earring, but is clearly like a little printer. And I think what she hands you is not a waveform, but what is it called? A spectrogram?
Ooh, a spectrogram.
Yeah.
Is that like
visual...
a little the record sound?
Yeah,
like
it's a very colorful, like visual representation of sound. It's not the classic this. It's a whole thing, kind of a heat map
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and its patterns, well, gosh, now that you're looking at it, you can see that with you, Garrick is also looking at it. She points. What in the hell is that? And you can see a repeating figure, almost like one of those old animations that if you spun it, it would resolve into a shape, someone doing something. Each of these little figures printed on the spectrogram looks just like that silver figure from your dreams.
What is what is that? Have you seen it before? What is that?
No, no, I've only looked at the waveform.
I've seen them before.
Waveforms, sure.
No, no, the
Anyone can record a waveform.
silver glider. Sorry. The person, the shape. I've seen them.
You sound ridiculous.
I know.
Hat like this, cloak like that.
Is it not a license to be ridiculous?
Suppose this is a little ridiculous. Look, if you're going to head out there, you might as well keep this. She passes it to you. But don't say you weren't warned. Ideally, come back so that you can say you weren't warned. Or get the hell out of here in the first place.
Right, right. So nobody's made it back? Not even a story. A babbled remembering.
She's holding something back. She says no.
I put up one hand, as if tapping into some hidden energy.
Sounds like you maybe want to roll for something. There's risk involved with this, and the risk is that I think if you were to fail a roll here, that's right, a roll, because we're playing a freaking role-playing game.
Wow.
If you were to fail this roll, I think you'll get bad info. Like you'll learn something that's not correct.
Okay. She'll lie to me or something.
Yeah. Or you'll think that she's told you the truth. And she hasn't.
I can
You rolled a 5?
tell you're
Or are you
lying. No, sorry, I'm role playing.
Okay.
I can tell you're lying. What are you hiding?
How would you like to approach this skill situation?
I'm employing my mysticness, but only in its social capital.
Okay. Why don't you roll a d8 and let me know what you get.
Alrighty, here we go. Oh, it's a 2.
Okay.
That's a failure.
Yeah. I think what happens is there's her eyes go blank and she starts speaking in tongues. And Hyun walks in at this juncture, shakes his head, and says, "You had to go pushing, didn't you?"
Sorry. Kid, I'm just, you might be able to understand. I need to know everything I can know. I know you're walking me to my death.
Trying to walk you to a place where we can find our salvation. Surely, as a man of the cloth, you understand that.
I understand.
Are you actually pause? I don't actually know Taylor's gender.
Yeah. A man is appropriate.
Surely, as a man of the cloth, you can understand that.
I also understand there's very few of us left. There are other towns. You know, there's other places to live.
What do you want?
What do you know?
If you push this, the risk is that you won't be. I think the risk here is that Hyun sends you out there anyway by force, as opposed to in a way that could get the blessing of the town when you come back.
Yeah, maybe I
The-
don't. Maybe I don't ever get let back in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Hmm. I'm gonna try to impress him. Um. Okay. I'm gonna try to employ my cameras for eyes. Glancing across him, the eyes doing like maximum spinning in and out. You can't hide things from me, Hyun. I'm not like you. I'm not just a man of the cloth. I am merged with it, whatever that it is. And I can see things now. I can see that this morning you've been up since the wee hours. I can see that your fingers are cracked. And there you've been up atop the spire, near the spores. You've been fretting, looking for a solution. And you can't hide things from me.
Give me a roll. That's a D8.
D8, roll! That's an 8!
Okay. Now, of course, you have a question, don't you? Folks, if you're joining us recently, anytime that Anthony rolls the highest possible result, Anthony can either have a pretty impressive success, or alternatively, Anthony can take it as a full 1 and level up any of Anthony's skills or powers or get a new one.
But I'm not going to do that today. I need this 8. This is my time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. I'm not out here trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes, you understand? I'm just looking out for my community.
The infrareds can see through wool anyways.
Your lip.
Speak.
What I know, and I think Hyun walks over to the ledger, picks it up, flips through it. Some have come back, all right? There's a being in there. Moves like a craft on water. Kind of a floating, not high, but the legs, they don't move. Just glides across the ground. Wears a brimmed cap like in one of those old movies. The long cloak. Far as we can tell, looking for, as far as we can tell, seems to be looking for medicine. Not something we can provide.
It's looking for a cure. It's hurt.
Parts of them look worm-ridden almost. It's not right. I don't know what makes the murmuring in those caves. I don't know what this is. I don't know who this is. I know it's in there. I don't know what that would do to help you, frankly.
When it walks, it's like it's stepping too slow for the speed at which it takes to land.
Sonnet doesn't step at all. Just moves.
Does it tilt its cap down, always staring at the ground?
Size narrow. Yes. Why?
Started dreaming of it. Very night they put these into me. I was still a kid and I was upset. I was crying. And every time I closed my eyes, well, tried to see this figure, I thought it was burned in the sensors on the cameras at first. Oh, I was really thought I was going to back out of this. But I have to go.
You can see him make some equivalent of a sign of the cross. You've seen people make it before in your presence, but this one feels more purposeful. And he says, I don't know if this is a blessing or an omen, but you know as much as any of us now.
Will you give me the blessing before I go, Hyun? I haven't had it done by another in some time.
Yes. All right.
It would give me comfort.
It's almost analogous to a baptism, but with a spirit in lieu of water. Flicks it towards you. Flicks it towards himself as well. Gets some in his eye. Stings. And then he takes a drink.
Burns all the way down.
All right.
I'll be back soon. You know Chris, the traveler?
Good sword. Came here ways back.
Yeah, no, does he have anybody here?
Friends, certainly.
A partner? Betrothed?
Lonely type. Doesn't seem interested in any of the locals. Why? You meet yesterday at the...
We knew each other from way back. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I just need to figure out if I was coming back or not.
Well, and there's sincerity in his eyes as he says what follows. I hope you do. Good luck, traveler.
Thank you. Stay by the door. Pen in the ledger. I have to finally fill in that return column. Garrick, would you?
I think Garrick's only just like having her wits returned to her after the thing. So Chris walks over, sort of like sets an arm on her, moves her aside a bit. I mean, sorry, Hyun walks over, sets an arm on her, moves her aside a bit, and then like I think the door opens with the butt of the poleaxe being wrapped against the floor. And then the door's open.
I think there's still like sand in the air. Storms haven't quite died down.
Some of that prismatic sand that swirls around these parts is still swirling, but it settles. Yes. Canon gay.
Gay? I pull my hat down tight over my eyes, swing my cloak up over me, and with my robes pulled tight around my face, I head towards the caves.
Each step you take across the plains is a little trickier than the one before because most of these patches you're passing through are sort of long, worn through magma flows that have dried up a long time ago, right? The igneous result of some strange process known to this planet and none others. But there's also patches of standing water through here, and it becomes mucky and difficult. And as you move towards the cave, I think there's an expanse of maybe hip deep something analogous to a bog, a fen.
Mhm.
Um, it dries up at the cave entrance, but there's an area to pass through. What do you do?
There is a pathway through, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think you could either skirt the outside or you could go through it. You could kind of climb up over the cave and then come down towards the entrance. The cave itself isn't flooded, is what I'm saying.
Right, right, right.
But you're going to have to tell me how you approach it, I think.
Yeah. I put my finger into my bag, fingers into my bag, and I, for a moment, play with the hydric transporter,
Mm.
thinking about it. No, I might need that to get home. I have big silver man chasing me. I decide to make my way around and then up over the caves, and I'll try to wind my way back down.
Sure. The risk is that, I guess the risk is that you'd slip and scuff some of your equipment, maybe one of your lenses.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I don't think I've got much to help me here. I've got cameras for eyes. Might help me see some difficult, sketchy rocks on the way.
Sure.
Loose terrain.
You can roll a D8 player.
Thank you, Daddy. I
Daddy
wrote.
man is what DM stands for, in case anybody wasn't familiar.
Thank you, Daddy Man. I rolled a 6.
Okay, great. Um, your passage is safe. Do you want to tell me what it looks like as you move across this terrain?
Yeah. Uh, Taylor's kind of like wiry figure, kind of weaves its way up the back of the cave, sort of onto the rocky terrain. And here it's just looking for little lips and edges of the stone. And I think that maybe all the stone here has that porous, strange nature. And so sometimes as you grip onto a stone, it like breaks off because there's too much, a big pocket of air underneath that, nothing holding it in place. And as I kind of get to the top of the cave system, now I'm looking down. I've got to try to make my descent. It's the hardest thing of all. And the cameras are like zooming in and out, catching sort of like finding optimal placement of like footholds, and I'm like lowering myself down until I kind of like there's like a slip and a slide of rock, and the camera's like and like immediately like find like a catch of stone, hook my fingers into it, and I'm able to like hold on, break my fall, and sort of like swing into landing low on my feet, and I can now see the entrance of the caves just a ways away.
As you land, there's almost a sound that reminds you of a tuning fork, that pure and perfect hum that like reverberates through the bubbled surface of the rock near the cave. And moving inside, it's joined by other frequencies, humming and wavering, moving in different patterns. The cave itself is, as described by Chris, a place that seems to reflect light strangely back. There's a sense of disorientation as light moves in white and refracts back in a prismatic cacophony. And I think I'm not going to make you roll for this, but your cameras are definitely an asset here. It would be very hard to tell anything that was going on without them.
I stand in the
As
mouth
it,
of the cave. Oh, sorry.
no,
Yeah.
no, go on, go on.
And as I'm like trying to like take this all in with my cameras, I'm like searching for any semblance of a figure in the like clouds of flashing light. And I know it's probably not that easy. But then I shout out to the murmuring, Strider.
Okay. If you are doing that, the risk is that if there's something that means you ill here, they will know that you're here.
That makes sense. Logic.
Right. So I would ask that you give me a roll of some kind. Feel free to tell me if you're using anything and what you're rolling.
Okay, I am going to. Wait. I'm just trying to avoid danger. Is that what I'm doing?
Rolls are generally, yeah, just to avoid risk befalling you. So my job is the game master, I guess, is to outline what bad things will happen, and you
Right.
might still be successful if it's not mutually exclusive with the consequences that I outlined.
Right. Okay. Just for security, I think I'm going to like grip my knife in one hand, pull out sort of the long, like desert knife that I've been carrying with me for my journeys, and I've just got it gripped and ready just in case there's anybody out here. So that maybe reduces my risk somewhat, but I will.
Sure. Yeah, you could roll a d8 with that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. Here we go. We roll. It's a 3.
Okay. So I mean, what we said is that you're trying to get the attention of the one that's here. So you do, I think. You're not yet perfectly pinpointed because I think there's a degree to which the resident or residents of this place suffer the same disorientation that you do. And as you look towards the figure, it does look like from your dreams, but it also looks like memories from your own life refracting back differently. Who are the two people? Who's the first person that you think of when you see this figure? Like a moment looking at a crowd when you see someone and you go, oh, but it's not them. Who's the first person?
My father, a proud and struggling man. He was also tall, bald since I knew him, and loving in that unspeaking sort of way.
Who's the second person?
My boss from the yards, the man my father gave me to. Unkind, unyielding. Took both my eyes. What gave me these?
Holy shit. Woo! This is why I ask Anthony questions. Okay, great. Great. You see one, the other. Even for a moment, Chris back, and the form twists into 100 different people. And you sense that in turn, your form moves in the same way. What do you do?
I want to just look down to see if I can catch for a second. Maybe it's just in my mind, but if I can catch for a second any version of myself transforming or taking on a different shape when I'm not looking.
I think you look normal to you because you're not staring down the barrel of this cave. There's not that same reflection, refraction. You're just at the cave mouth. So in many ways, it doesn't really feel you're you.
Right.
But even as you do this, I think the murmuring grows as the figure approaches. What do you do?
Dad? Corporal? Yes. I can see the figure, and they are moving towards me.
Yes. They slow now. And at this point, things are somewhat, there's almost a cacophony of sounds because you're hearing all of these different frequencies in all of these different places. And the floor of the cave even starts to sway beneath you. Whether that's real or some disorientation brought on, it's hard to say. The figure doesn't speak.
Who, who are you? What are you?
Medicine. Cries, sort of croaks out the voice in many different voices, voices that you almost recognize but don't. Medicine. We need medicine.
Wh- What's hurt you? How how are you sick? Is it a knife? Heartbreak?
Ooh. Haha. Hmm. If you want to ask that question, I think calling out knife risks it being seen as a threat.
Right.
You don't have to take that approach, but if you don't, let me know what you want to do instead. Obviously, the success, if you're successful, is that you learn what the problem is.
Right. Let's take that risk.
Okay.
Did I roll a d6 or a d8?
Do you think it would be a D8 because you have knife?
Seems a little stupid, but yeah, I guess.
Screw it. You might as well do it. You only have so many things to roll on.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna roll. Oh, it's a 3.
Right, right. Um, so I think you get your answer, but there's a setback, right? Because there has to be, because that's how you roll. I think you hear the figure say, "No, you cannot carve us in twain. We are one now." And the voices are all murmuring different strains of this. We are one, 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 just like an echo, a cacophony. And underneath it, there's a stronger voice that you now are starting to hear as the main thread. There's some principal feeling underscoring it. And that voice says, repairs. We need repairs. We are hurt by the and you don't get a word from them. It's more of a sensation of pain that's sent to you. You realize that this many echoing that you're hearing is these group of voices, but from the cave, it's all exacerbated. Their own many voices twisting up amongst themselves in a way that binds them. This all clarifies to you in a moment as you stand there on the cusp between clarity outside and madness within. What do you do? I think also the figure maybe advances a little towards you in fear. Fight as opposed to flight, or part of the figure does.
I can't know. I can't know what danger, what pain has befallen you. I can't. And I reach into the leather sack at my waist. I grab the chip set, the bundle of wires, clip them into the back of the camera attachment.
Right.
And I just like pull off the detachable, radio transponder. I don't mean harm. I don't mean harm. This is diagnosis.
This is your Zot?
Yeah, I'm pulling out the
photonic
scanner.
Yeah, photonic scanner. For sure. Yeah, that feels like a D8. Shoot, I'll even let you roll a D10 because you've got the camera eyes as well. That feels fair.
Okay. Then in my head, I'm gonna like throw the like probe part of it, so that it kind of
Mhm.
like can like zoom around the whatever this sort of shadowy figure and try to
Right.
provide some clarity to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I throw it. I roll my die, and I roll a 6.
Okay. Okay. Um, that's a success. So I think immediately you can see in your mind's eye, in your camera's eye, you can see those images, all of these images you've seen of this figure on the spectrogram start to move as if on one of those old ways of seeing an animation. It's too bad Jen's not here anymore, who would definitely know what it's called. And as it moves,
Kinetoscope, I think.
oh, kinetoscope. Well, great. Who needs Jen? The kinetoscope starts to whir faster and faster. And as it does, you see a story in it.
Hmm.
You see a man walking into this cave at some point in the past. There is no scout at the top of the Mesmer. And this man doesn't look like your people, looks like some older figure, looks like some figure from before, but you can't quite put your hand up against it. You can't quite wipe away the noise of the image and figure out why you feel that way, but you do see this movement, little spores all gathering around this person who kneels gently, coaxes them with friendliness into his hand. And over the years that pass, as you look at this moving image, it changes, showing the story. They begin to live together. They begin to understand each other. They begin to work not as a being, but as a colony. And then one day they leave the spires and go into the cave. And then their thoughts become jumbled indeed, as all of their tiny voices echo back in a maddening sound. How long have they been here? Impossible to tell. The problem is place, not them, but where they are, this colony. What do you do?
I see now. You're one of the old ones. A symbiote. I've heard it whispered in the halls.
As you say, whisper, there's 1,000 little whispers that sparkle off the cave wall.
Uh, I am. They used to say that the old ones, they couldn't just be one organism. It didn't make sense. There was a. Uh, each one seemed too complex. The ideas they held too complicated, multifaceted. Like you. But you're trapped. Are you scared to leave?
I think the word leave triggers a pretty visceral reaction, and the figure backs into the cave, backs into the cave, backs into the cave.
I don't understand. It's it's safe. I have an
Um,
idea.
oh,
Says
let's hear
Taylor.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, don't retreat much further. I need to show you something. It's safe out here. Your people, they can live here. But you must stay. Wait. You understand?
Oof. I think I'm gonna need you to. Well, what are you doing exactly? I think I need to know.
I'm about to leave. I'm going back to the spire.
Okay. So I do think I am still going to call for a roll for that, both because the terrain is difficult and because you're walking away from a situation that is unstable, one can say, if nothing else. The risk that you're taking on is that you're exposing yourself to whatever this would do if it feels that you've
Here.
trespassed it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Can I? Is this? Yeah, yeah. Of course, this is in the spirit of 2400. What I would like to do, uh, to respond to this risk, I grabbed the last Zot that I have in my bag.
And you do still have the photonic scanner. It didn't break, I should say.
Oh, right. We didn't. I don't didn't roll for that. Or I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
You did roll. It's just it breaking is part of the roll.
Right. 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 Okay. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay. Then I grabbed the only other Zot I have in my bag. The Hydro Transporter.
sure.
I think it looks cool. It's got like
Oh, for sure.
spinning discs and like sort of probing kind of like fusion like plasma in the center, a bright yellow color. Um, this is a prized possession to me. Mine. My heart, my treasure. I'll come back. I'll come back for this. And I lay it as an offering just inside the cave entrance before I go.
I am going to call that using it.
Yeah.
You will be rolling either way, I suppose. So I guess roll a d8.
I've rolled a 2! Gah!
Okay. I think
Uh-oh. What's he gonna do to me?
so it's broken already is what we learn as you set
Right.
it down.
Right.
This that you've placed down is a broken thing.
And it might know already.
Uh yeah, you hear this rumbling as the cave itself seems to start
Oh
to
no.
rumble, and there's a sense, I don't know if it's spoken or if you feel it, but that this is a trick.
No, no,
And
no, no.
a nearby corpse uh, lifts up under the weight of many small fungal beings and begins and holds up a rifle towards you.
Holy shit. How far away is this guy? Is this guy within knifing distance?
Sure.
Okay.
You didn't see it at first because of the disorienting nature of the cave,
For
but
sure.
not a lot of travelers made it very far, it seems.
I'm gonna grab my knife and just try to like slice at the arms to make it drop the weapon.
Okay. Roll a d8.
Another 2! I'm gonna die!
Yeah, I didn't tell you what the risk is, but that's not great. I think like as you reach in towards the knife distance, surely like that spread moves up your own arm. Now you feel this tickle that's itching and then is feeling uh, somewhat urgent. What do
Oh
you do?
god. Like, I think like it's some sort of spore essence is what is implied, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh god. Oh, my hydric transporter's broken. It's my only way out of here. Uh, okay. Backed into a corner. I do what I always do. And my fangs stay nicely hidden at the back of my mouth. Easy to hide in common conversation. But they also don't quite obey the laws of physics and biology the way they should. And as I like open my mouth up to snarl, they like kind of like protrude further, so they kind of like leap to the front of the mouth. Um, and I take a step back and like looking to like the creature, the figure back in the cave. You don't want me. I'm not what you think I am. I'm a monster. And I like open up and I snarl with the fangs, and then I like try to like bite at the neck of this corpse to drive my point home and try to scare off these creatures.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Roll a d8.
A 4.
Okay. Um, there's a snarl in pain from oh no, not from the corpse, of course, but from the colony on it. And I think like that urgent problem, that infection that had so quickly taken across your arm, that all sloughs away onto the corpse to try and, I suppose, ensure that it remains stable, that it's not taken out by this. But there's a consequence, which is that the leader, if you will, advances on you and has seen this hostile action. Pulls out a piece of old tech that you recognize as some kind of artifact, but you haven't yet attempted to identify it.
I like at first I want to like try to like zoom in with my eyes, see if I can get like a clear shot as he's coming forward. And then if I like think I can't do it, I think I like reach for the photonic scanner again, just to try to get as much information here and hurl the probe back out.
Sure. Either way, I think will result in the same effect here. But if you use your camera eyes and the photonic scanner, last time I gave you a D10, so screw it. Go for it. Roll me a D10.
All right, here goes. An 8.
Okay.
It's not broken.
It's a cybernetic annihilator.
Uh-oh.
Which really explains a little bit going on here. This artifact probably was originally intended to be used as a weapon, and then over time has been used. Partly is the reason that this being is now composed the way it is. Some marriage of metal and mushroom have created this being, but it's definitely an annihilator. It's a cybernetic annihilator, and oh, there it is before you.
Oh God, what does this thing look like? Can I ask?
Great question. I think it's a dark hovering orb that flickers between looking like a void and like a quickly whirring machine. It emits a hum like a motor, and has that blurry effect like looking at a fan.
Okay. You can stop me, but Taylor has a moment where he's like he relives the dreams, the memories, and behind that silver figure constantly haunting his dreams is this like black glowing moon that seems to orbit, and it all like clicks into place. No. Oh God. I'm not a danger. I'm scared. I step into the cave. I think I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need the spectral mess, the shifting shapes and bodies to show this creature something. I step in.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I step in and I try to like tap into this sort of like shifting mirage and murmurs, watching myself and the space around me to see if I can have any impact on this mirage.
Okay. Yeah. That feels like you tell me, that feels like using your mystic powers.
That seems right.
And I want to say the risk of this, of course, is that now you've blocked your escape.
Right.
So that I would say that's the risk if you in going into the cave, you're no longer able to dash across the fen, however effective it would not have been.
Right.
You've cut off an exit.
I'm like letting myself be back, like, I'm letting the thing get around me and sort of block off my exit.
That's the risk, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then should I roll a d8?
Yeah, please do.
Here we go. I've rolled a 4.
Okay. Ergo, we do have that closure, and they get closer and closer, and I think there's another figure that rises, another traveler that's been put to this end, but surely there's also the success then.
Right.
What do you show it?
I, through like the shifting like shapes, I try to conjure beside me a tall figure, a mirror of them. But this one has the dark black tousled hair, the hand half malformed. It's Chris. And I close my eyes and just try to remember every detail of him, to manifest him in the shifting sands and light, to create an image of him.
Which you do, but why?
Then I like wipe my hand across my own face, and I could sense that my own identity gets liquid in here, can shift. And I just try to sink myself back through the years till I'm that 18-year-old boy through human eyes. And I reach out and I touch the phantasmal Chris.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I turn to the thing, creature. I'm in love. I am captured by desire, by wanting. I only want to go home. I want to save his home, and I want to go home. I am no risk. I am not hate. This is love, desperate.
Okay. I've got to roll something to check something.
He's checking something.
The light in here plays tricks on you. That much is clear. But you get a sudden realization that this is not a mirage. This is Chris. Suddenly now here must have tracked you through here, must be trying to ensure that you are safe. Chris turns to you. I think I see what's going on here. I thought you could use this. I think that we can use this, says Chris, eyeing nervously at the blocked entrance that the two of you ran into, now so pinned in here. When did he appear? Things move so strangely with these visions and sounds. Chris passes you. Passes you your, shoot, what was it?
Spatial transformer?
Your spatial transformer.
The one that I left?
The one that you left.
I grasp the metal sphere. Chris. But like I think the threat is like more important than the.
It's too imminent.
And I just look at this towering creature. It's time to make it small. And I just whip out with a spatial transformer, clicking the buttons to set it into shrinking mode as I send it towards the figure to shrink it down.
Okay. Roll a d8 if you would.
Here we go, folks. Come on, send good dice vibes. It's a 5.
Okay. All right. Do you want to narrate what happens?
Yeah. So the risk is like it's gonna get me in some way, right? Just to kind of set the parameters.
Oh yeah, the risk is that you're cornered and it seriously harms you or Chris.
Right. I think it hits. The metal device hits the shoulder of this creature, and there is like a moment where it like bounces off, and then like a magnet reattaches itself, and all at once there's this like kind of like blinking blackness and the sickening twist in our stomach as the rules of space-time are briefly rewritten around us, and the figure does start to shrink in front of us, and it feels like we might get out of this alive until the cloud starts to form. Just spores being expelled from the body of this thing at high speeds. No room left inside to house them anymore. They are just pushed into the air, and this billowing cloud of, homeless, lonely, wanting spores begins to fill the air. And I like grasped Chris's hand. I think we've only got one chance, and I'm not even sure he's real. But in this moment, comfort's more important than anything, and I grab my imaginary Chris, and I just run through the cloud towards the exit, and I can feel the spores, the like acidity of them hitting the back of my nostrils, the back of my throat, seeping into my skin, and I can hear Chris coughing beside me as we rush out of the cave.
Okay. Now the question is, I guess, see, there weren't really, it was a success you rolled. You gave yourself a little problem. So
Wait, but there's a partial success, right? It was like
a 5 is a full success.
Oh, Anthony forgot how the game works.
But I think that's fun.
I think
so
that's
here's
fun.
what that means is that I'll let that ride and won't make you roll again. And here's what I think happens. You find yourself back at the settlement, at the spires, and there's Chris beside you, alive, not a mushroom corpse, not a hallucination, but present, looking winded. Maybe been a while since Chris was on one of these kind of adventures. But alive. And as Hyun approaches the door, as the door opens, there's again a rumbling. And you see above you in the sky, lit by the now high, dead-on beams of the big sun, a stream of spores going from the settlement to the cave, filling the cave slowly until this organic mass becomes a soft wall. And the settlement sits dry and empty. Even the caps that used to be on it have all disintegrated, blown away into this wind, into this cave, at rest now. Epilogue. Can you give me a little vision of what you're doing a week from now?
Yeah. There's a dinner party. We've recovered enough. We slept through like 3 days straight. But Chris has decided to host. Time of celebration. Lee is moving out of the house, back to the top of the spire. Hyun is there, Garrick. There's been many celebrations, but this one is a celebration for those who know really what happened. And everyone's like talking and having a good time. And Chris gets up from the table. Some people's tea needs to be refilled, and heads back to the kitchen to refill the pot. And I get up after. I'll help, I say. And I follow him into the kitchen and wrap my arms around his shoulders from the back as he leans over the sink. I can't believe you followed me out there.
Something you said stuck with me, I guess. If I could do it for all those people, I never said a word of thanks. I'm sure you found the same. Why couldn't I do it for you?
Yeah. And as he's refilling the teapot, I lean against the counter beside him. A hand out in front of me. With just him and I alone in the kitchen, my hand shifts through the rainbow. 18 different colors. Until I grip it again. I'll take it out. You grab the cups.
Of course, says Chris. And with a hand now complete, filled in with little gaps that look a little softer than other parts of his hand, grasps a mug, brings it out with him. And that's our game, folks. Thank you for joining us today for a session of 2400, specifically the module Zot.
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 Thank you to Jason Tochi. I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Yeah, T-O-C-C-I.
T-O-C-C-I. Thanks for designing a cool game. Is Zot also like the scenario also designed by Jason?
I believe all of the mainline ones are.
Cool.
I don't know that much about the system though. I've seen it for almost years maybe, and I know that there are plenty of fan-made pieces as well. But this is actually a side of the hobby that I'm fairly rarely on. There's a couple of different iterations of this that have shown up over the years, and always found it fascinating. This is sort of in the, now don't quote me on this, but this is closer to the old school Renaissance world of play.
Oh, what does that mean?
The old school Renaissance is sort of on the opposite end of the spectrum from story games. Both are sort of responses to traditional play and want traditional, trad being like the sort of built up elaborate systems that constitute contemporary Dungeons and Dragons. The OSR believes in more sketches of places, evoking an earlier version of D&D where it's more about rulings than rules. It's more about cleverness and approaches than it is about like a perfect have this skill, roll this thing now. It's a different, and they also tend to have, like, again, I'm really generalizing, higher lethality games so that there's more stakes. They tend to have combat that's quicker and more brutal. They tend to favor more, almost like if story games approach things like a poem sometimes, so too in some ways does OSR. In fact, there's a term for like lyric games that specifically applies to OSR that I am trying to remember. Something like, but definitely not Sword Song. Oh well. It's a different philosophy of play, and weirdly, in spite of doing something exactly different from what we tend to do, it's kind of got similar design principles that manifest as a result. Now that I've talked about a ton of inside baseball, that's surely not terribly interesting. I'll say thanks for joining us once again, everybody. Jamie, yeah, sometimes we can be pretty quick, especially if character creation is just me telling Anthony, random numbers, please.
That's true. That's true. That does cut the time down. It's a little quicker when you've only got two players, or can be. You know, we've got a little bit less chaos, less things to explore. What's that about, Kurt?
Nothing.
It's just about the number of players, okay,
It's
Kurt?
about the number of players.
It's about the number of players. Thank you all for joining us on this little two-man stream we have engaged in. This is so fun. I like the fun thing about it being just over 2 hours is and we bantered a little bit at the top and learned how to play. It's like basically like movie length.
Yeah.
Like a nice, like neat, like 90 to 120 minutes. I like told like kind of a movie-sized story a little bit. A bit of a weird movie, but
weird movie, but I'll take it.
but kind of fun. Yeah, thanks all for being here. Kurt, do you have anything that you want to let people know about before we wrap up?
Good question. I think I don't really have anything huge going on this week. It's I guess I would say I am working on a new game that I'll probably be playtesting soon. So if you want to hear more about that, maybe get a glimpse of the early draft of this strange little horror game I'm working on, feel free to subscribe to my newsletter. You can find it at buttondown.com/Kurt, where I write little things. And you can get them.
You should get them. You should
They're
get
kind of cute.
them.
It's nice. It's not just ads. I say interesting things there.
I think a Kurt newsletter sounds like a good thing to have.
But that's all for me this week. Anthony, I'm guessing there's nothing urgent on your mind.
No, nothing pressing.
Okay.
If you're in Amsterdam, let me know. I'm gonna be there next week. There won't be any stream on Monday. Sorry. But yeah, I'm happy to hang out. Yeah, but that was it. I'm thinking if you're still in the mood for more storytelling after that nice quick 2 hours, why don't we head over to our friends over at Nat10s? You'll remember them as the people with the best tags you've ever seen, including Dice Baby and Feet Pics. I have absolutely no idea what they're playing. I was trying to figure it out. They look like they're having a great time. Title of the stream is Nat10s pays the daddy tax. I don't know what it means.
People after our own heart.
But I think it should be fun. So head on over there if you're in the mood for some more streaming. And I will be back next week. Maybe these two will be. Maybe Kurt and Amanda will play something for y'all. We'll find out.
But probably not, actually. So
okay.
You'll probably see us 14 days from now, folks.
Okay. We're going to take a little break. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. And hopefully back to our campaign of City of Winter, which honestly I am very excited about.
Can't wait. Yeah. Happy Easter to those who celebrate.
Yeah.
And happy rando day off to those who don't. We will see you in a couple weeks.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.